Hey, what's up everybody? Tech Chucker here, and today we're going to do a review of the Hasbro Marvel Legends Civil War Wave Giant Man Build-A-Figure. Now this is a really cool Build-A-Figure. I really like it. There's a lot of really great detail. If you haven't already, go check out my video where I actually build this guy, or I assemble him. I had a little bit of fun with some stop motion. The link to that is in the description below. It'll also be at the end credits at the end of this video. But let's just go ahead and take a closer look at this thing and see if it is worth building. Articulation on this figure is actually pretty darn good, especially for, oops, let me pop this leg back on, especially for him being such a big figure. But his head is on a ball peg, and there is also a hinge. There is one little issue with the ball peg being shaped a little bit weird, but he can look up that much, he can look down a decent amount. The ball peg is shaped such that the head pops off quite a bit. But it doesn't cause any issues. He can look left and right with no problems, and he's got a decent amount of tilt also. So you definitely have lots of options with the head. Shoulder is a standard peg hinge. He can get his arm out that much. He's got full rotation. There is a bicep swivel, no issues there. Double jointed elbows. A little bit of limitations within that bend. That's about as far as he can go. And then there is a peg joint and a hinge joint in the wrists, and those work really, really well. No problems there. Moving into the torso, if I can get this arm out of the way, he's got a hinge joint, but he can't really crunch forward very much. I mean, that's almost nothing. Back is okay, so that's kind of disappointing. There is a standard waist swivel, and that works well. The belt doesn't get in the way. His hips, he's got T-jointed hips, and holy cow, look at that. Ant-Man is going to be, I wonder if Paul Rudd can do the splits like that. I doubt it. But this is pretty sweet. He can kick forward a decent amount, pretty much straight out, which is awesome. Kicking backwards is okay. We've seen worse, we've definitely seen better. And then we've got that waist or thigh cut, works well. Double jointed knees, those also work fairly well, but that knee pad looks a little funky once you bend it. The ankles, he's got a hinge joint, he can move his foot back that far. Moving it forward is a little harder, but not terrible. And then he does have a ankle rocker, which works fairly well. So overall, the articulation on this figure is really quite good. My biggest gripe is really with that torso ab crunch, where we just aren't getting as much as I'd like to see. My favorite part of this figure is really the sculpt and the paint work. I think Hasbro did an awesome job, especially with the paint, but the sculpt also. This head sculpt, the helmet is really, really detailed. There's lots of really great nooks and crannies for some of that black wash to have gotten in there. And you know, I love the way that this paint looks. I like that the goggles, you can actually see through the translucent red to see back, and they painted his eyes back there. I mean, that's pretty sweet. These antennas are actually kind of soft, which is great, so you don't feel like you're going to break them off. What I was talking about earlier with that ball peg, you can see it's kind of mushroom shaped almost, and that just causes that head to not stay on all that well, and it kind of pops off. No issues there, you just have to be kind of careful as you're doing that, otherwise that head's going to pop off. And you can also see some of these blue accents on the helmet. Just another great detail that I think Hasbro did an awesome job with. Moving into the torso and the arms, there's just a lot of really cool details in terms of texture and line work in the sculpt, and then they finished it off with some really nice paint work as well. You can see on my right arm here, there's a little bit of paint wear, probably from in the packaging or when I had it in my drawer. But otherwise, paint is clean, paint is consistent. You know, we've got good color tones throughout. I'm really happy with all of that. His wrist pieces probably could have had a little bit of a black wash, just like the belt should have had a black wash as well, to kind of continue that nice completed look that we got from the helmet paint. But down in the legs, we get that same texture. Great paint work. I like the detail with the costume. Good representation of what the movie had. I do have a gripe with the feet. I wish they put some paint on those feet. And I'm not a huge fan of the shoe tongue piece. It's a hard piece. I wish it was a little softer. But overall, the sculpt work is really good. I think they did an amazing job with this. It makes me really want that Ultron Wave Ant-Man too, so that I can have my movie universe Ant-Man at different sizes. Alrighty, so Ant-Man, this BAF Build-A-Figure comes with no accessories. And really the only thing that I wish that he would have come with was an extra set of hands, be it so that we could have 2 fists for both hands and 2 kind of grasping hands or something like that. But aside from that, there really isn't a need for him to have anything else, but it would have been nice. But overall, you know, I'm super happy and satisfied with this figure. I think it's an amazing figure. I think the articulation is great. I think it's fun to play with. It's fun to pose, as you saw in the stop motion video, which if you haven't seen, go check it out. It's in the description below. It's going to be at the end credits of this video. It's fun to play with. There's lots of range for the articulation, so I definitely think you should go out and get that figure right away. So you got to and get pretty much all the figures in the wave. It's definitely worth the money. So I hope this was helpful. Make sure you hit subscribe, like this video, and until next time, I will see you later.
Tech Checkers Brain Blast.